Good. I would like to call this meeting to order. This meeting is being held in accordance with the public laws of 1975, Chapter 231. An adequate notice of this meeting is provided by a notice sent to the Star Ledger, the local source, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the township website. I would like to ask American Legion Springfield Post number 228 Vice Commander David Penna to kindly lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I ask everyone to please remain standing for a moment of silence for all those who serve our country, both near and not so near. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Capides?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Present.
Committeeman Huber?
Here.
Committeeman Laufer?
Present.
Committeeman Weber?
Thank you. First order of business is proclamations and announcements. As you are aware by now, the farmers market is every Monday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. in front of the library. Our September townwide garage sale will be the weekend of September 9th and 10th, with bulk pickup on Wednesday, September 20th. New Jersey 2023 Senior Olympics, 50 and older, September 8th, 9th, and 10th in Woodbridge Township. Register by August 25th at the NewJerseySeniorOlympics.com or call 973-618-1111. Reminder that the August 2023 calendar for residents 55 and older and for the community pool is published. Please look at all the events and activities we have planned for this month. On a more somber note, the township extends our condolences to First Aid Squad President Liz Fritzen and her family, and the First Aid Squad on the passing of Liz's mom, Gloria Simpson. Gloria was a longtime resident, worked for the police department as a records clerk for 43 years, a lifetime member of the First Aid Squad. Gloria has served the residents of Springfield for over 60 years, and for her service awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award from the New Jersey State EMS Council, the Overlook Hospital of Excellence and EMS Award, and the Springfield Chamber of Commerce EMS Award. Gloria passed away on July 29th at 96 years of age. So all of us at the township, please extend our condolences to the family and the First Aid Squad. I would like to congratulate all of our first responders for a very successful August 1st National Night Out. I was not able to be there at that time, but I heard it was very successful, very well attended, and I appreciate your support of our first responders. And lastly, just a reminder to our residents, there has been recent concern being made aware about solicitors going door to door in our neighborhoods with the event of warm weather. A lot of people are going door to door trying to sell things. Just as a reminder, if you ever feel uncomfortable, if you ever feel that something's not right, if you are suspicious about anyone being in your neighborhood that's not supposed to, I implore you to call the police immediately. And as you call the police, it's option number 9, and report the suspicious activity immediately. I have been in touch with Chief Cook and the police department. They have been issuing summonses to several individuals who have not been registered or licensed within the township of Springfield, and your calls are working. So again, some people are legitimate, but those that are not, if you're ever suspicious or scared, whether it be time of day, you're not exactly sure how they can be identified, or don't have the proper identification on them, I implore all of you to call the police, option number 9, and report your house. You don't have to give your name, just an area, and the police will respond immediately and will give summonses and have done so in the past. With that, does anyone else have? Sure, yeah, absolutely.
As well. Please don't go online if you have a problem with solicitors or so on. Call the township. We will take care of it. Those forms are not monitored 24 hours a day. Our business administrator is standing by on the phones. Our
Chief is always
chief
here
is
also.
always on the phone. Everybody's always there, you know? There's nothing more frustrating than to see on the phone, on the internet, why are we not doing anything about it? It's because we don't know about it if it's not happening right there. You gotta call.
Yeah, I just want to extend condolences to Yale Greenspoon. Yale Greenspoon's family. Yale passed away a few days ago. He was a former municipal leader in town. You know, he worked on he was attorney for the Board of Health, attorney for the Rent Leveling Board, attorney for the Board of Education. Yale was an institution in town, and he will be greatly missed. And our sincerest condolences to his family.
Thank you, Committeeman.
Rich, I'm sorry.
Rich, do you have anything?
Can I add a public announcement?
Sure.
The Fall Festival is 10:15. All local vendors are invited to participate. It's 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Kaiser, do you have anything?
Actually, yeah. Outside tonight was the library was doing a reward for summer reading, but there is a save a date. There's a library open house on Sunday, September 10th from 1 to 4 p.m. So everybody, kids through adults are welcome to check out what the library is doing. That's Sunday, September 10th from 1 to 4 p.m. So put that on your calendar.
Thank you. And lastly, we'll have our monthly report, our redevelopment report as far as the Gomes project. According to our most recent information available, the demolition of 26 Center Street will begin this week or early next week. On August 7th, Springfield Center, the Gomes project finally submitted the permit application and is expected to provide the updated pest abatement certification and pay the required fee within 1 day. 2 contiguous neighbors have been advised that are surrounding the property, and upon completion of the demolition, all of the remnants of 26 Center Street will be removed from the site. With regard to other issues, the traffic signal pole at the corner of Caldwell Place and Morris Avenue is now accessible. We are still seeking to get the fence moved back along Caldwell Place before James Caldwell Elementary School begins in September. Supposedly, the 6-inch block have now arrived, which will be placed on the Caldwell Place side of the structure, and substantial work has been done on the Center Street portion of the project. The township is still trying to get the Gomes project to address the issues concerning accessibility for the Morris Avenue sidewalk, and as always, I will continue to keep you advised concerning the progress of the project. As I've always said from this dais and share this sentiment with the Township Committee, you are going to see more and more activity on that site, and you have, if you've driven past the site in the last 2 weeks, you have seen more activity as promised, and you have seen substantial progress in the building of that structure. So we remain cautiously optimistic, and again, as Deputy Mayor Kaiser has said before, we didn't start this project, but we're certainly going to finish it. Moving on, we're going to have public comment on agenda items only. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on agenda items, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 4 minutes to speak, after which the Township Committee may respond. Seeing none, I'm going to close the public comment portion of the meeting and move on to reports. First up is the administration. Mr. Basicolo, good evening, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just piggybacking on the Gomes project a little bit, the demo permit for the salon was issued today, and all of the paperwork now, the rodent abatement is in, so he's got 10 days to remove that building. The Morris Avenue sidewalk was also, the fence was pushed back, so that is completely open now. If you notice now, the second and the third floor on Caldwell has been framed and sheathed now. Half of Morris Avenue side has been framed and sheathed. They're in the process now of putting the trusses on the next floor, and then they were putting down the plywood flooring to start the framing on those floors. So you'll see continuous work being done on there. I wanted to touch on the Saks project, or the Metropolitan. They had a holdup because they could not get the electrical equipment. The transformers and that type of things were back ordered because of supply chain. They just got a delivery this week. Installation has started. They should be fully electrified sometime in the next couple of weeks. The light on Milburn Avenue that was put in is now operational. So that was actually turned on and it is working. Landscaping will be completed this fall, and the rental on the townhomes, they're gonna bring a trailer on site with a leasing agent to start renting the townhomes. They're probably gonna be in the $7,000 a month range and up. And the apartments, which we're looking at probably next spring, are gonna probably be $3,000 and up. Depends on what the market's like at the time. These are just guesstimates at the moment. We have two developments that we are currently in the process of reviewing and trying to get to a point where we're ready to bring it to you. We've got a meeting on Thursday on one of them, and we had a meeting last week to refine it. We cut down some units. We're doing some changes on the building, so they're both moving along. And this Thursday, the one that we've got this Thursday, Mike Mistretta, our planner, will be there. Mike and I are gonna walk the center and look at the other buildings that are there and see what looks like the next logical one that maybe we can start focusing in on, and speaking to some of the owners and seeing if we could get them to do redevelopment. I've also spoken to Craig about putting an ordinance in for downtown maintenance and aesthetics. What we're hoping is that on some of these buildings, maybe some of these owners may look at them and say, you know what? I can't do all the repairs that would be required. It's easier to start over. So we're trying to encourage some of those owners to get new buildings started. From DPW, we have new tree plantings will be done. If anyone is interested in getting a tree, you can call, either go online or call DPW, leave them a message, and they will plant a tree in front of your property. Paving update, Stonehill and Troy Drive was awarded to American Paving. They were the low bidder at $482. The project was funded by a DOT grant, an amount of $440. So we were pretty close on what the grant was compared to what it's gonna cost us. We're going out to bid shortly for Cottage Lane. That's gonna be funded by a community development grant in the amount of $120,000. I wanna give everybody a little bit of a heads up. We had some sanitary sewer damage last week up by the wine library on Morris Avenue. We're gonna have to probably do some digging to repair some pipe, so you may run into some traffic jams there when we're doing that. It'll probably be a couple of weeks before we come up with a game plan and how we're gonna fix that. And I think that was all I wanted to touch on at the moment. Are there any questions or comments? I'd be happy to answer. Well, again, if we can craft something, they would fall under that category, no matter if they're new or old. Yep.
Anything else for Mr. Basicolo? Thank you. Moving on to minutes and reports, we have one action item.
I'm gonna make a I will make a motion for the minutes of April 25th and the special meeting and executive meeting of May 9th and the regular meeting of May 9th and the regular meeting of May 25th, 2023, to approve those minutes.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
You were on all of them.
Yeah, I think you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you were.
That was not the special meeting.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Excellent. Department head reports were accepted. I ask that they be received and filed. On to new business. We have, I believe, 3 ordinances tonight for second reading that are public hearings on all of them. Madam Clerk, can you please read ordinance 2023-15 by title?
Ordinance 2023-15, this ordinance amends the Township Code in Chapter 7 to amend the Township's traffic regulation prohibiting right turns on red at certain intersections and times.
Motion?
Made a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-15, read by Madam Clerk, publicized to the local source,
Second.
Excellent. I now open this ordinance to public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 2023-15, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 4 minutes to speak, after which the Township Committee may respond. Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing on ordinance 2023-15. Is there any discussion up here? No? All right. Roll call, please.
Committeeman Weber? Yes. Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber? Yes. Committeeman Laufer?
Yes.
Mayor Capides?
Yes. Madam Clerk, would you read the next ordinance, please?
Ordinance 2023-16. This ordinance is appropriating the sum of $230,000 from the swimming pool capital fund and the capital improvement balances of the township for pool improvements.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-16 as read by Madam Clerk, with a publication in the local source on August 17, 2023.
Second.
I would now like to open up this ordinance 2023-16 to public hearing. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this ordinance, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, after which you'll have 4 minutes to speak, and the Township Committee may respond. Seeing no one, I'm going to close the public hearing portion. Do we have any discussion up here?
Yeah, this is the actual complete resurfacing of the pool. Yes. This is not a repaint.
No.
This is drain, cut it down, and resurface. Okay, excellent.
And follow up, this money's, like, this is accounted for. We planned on doing this. We forecasted to do this, right?
This is money that comes from the capital fund and the capital improvement fund. This money that's already on the books, and we're not going out for additional borrowing.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Committeeman Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Capides?
Yes. Last ordinance, please.
Ordinance 2023-17. This ordinance amends provisions in Chapter 2 of the Township Code regarding the promulgation of rules and regulations for Township's Police Department.
Make a motion to accept ordinance 2023-17 as read by Madam Clerk, publicized in the local source on August 17, 2023.
I will give you a second on that.
Excellent. At this time, I would like to make, open ordinance 2023-17. Open the public hearing on this. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance, please come forward. State your name and address for the record. You'll have 4 minutes to speak, after which the Township Committee may respond. Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing portion of this ordinance. Any discussion up here?
No.
Seeing none, roll call, please.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Committeeman Laufer?
Yes.
Mayor Capides?
Yes. All right, we have one first reading. Madam Clerk, if you would.
Ordinance 2023-18. This ordinance amends provisions in Chapter 7 of the Township Code regarding authorization for street closures.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-18 as read by Madam Clerk, publicized in the local source, August 17, 2023.
I will second.
Any discussion up here?
Can we, the chief and the captain just to run through?
Sure. Chief, you want to comment on that?
Just give a brief overview for the public.
Sure. So, looking at, when we get the requests for street closures and blockades, et cetera, for certain events, looking into it, I realized there was nothing under ordinance that really covered it or set parameters or anything to that nature. For that reason, I asked to be able to put something in to give us, guidelines to go by and for the public to see certain criteria as well. So something that didn't exist, and we're just bringing it to light.
So if somebody wanted to, this would pertain from, say, block party to, say, Halloween on, I don't know, Tooker Avenue?
Yeah, it pertains to any of that, any request for any sort of closures.
And then if somebody, so what's the protocol, just to,
They need to put the request in at least 14 days, 14 calendar days prior to the event. And it gives reasonings that it can be denied. accepted or denied.
In the ordinance, are you making those criteria public? Or do I have to apply, and then I know whether or not I get denied?
Right, it's more or less, it's based on, the denial or acceptance would come from my office, whether or not we feel there's a public safety issue
Understood.
or vehicular, prohibition issues, types of things.
Understood.
What are your thoughts on, so let's just random block party, someone goes and applies for it, and most of the block doesn't want it. What are your thoughts on, I don't know, the residents of the block having a yay or a nay on this? On something like that, if the majority,
Well, I had thought about that, but I don't want to put the pressure on people. A, the person making the request to go around and ask their neighbors. B, the pressure on the people whose doors are being knocked on, wanting to really say no, but afraid to say no, and then have the issue of having neighborhood rivalries. So I just put it solely on my office. That way if there's issues, if I feel there's an issue with it, then, people can talk to me about it, and we'll take it from there, case by case.
what can we do in this township? Again, in that, can we send out anonymous responses from them? I mean, or, can we email them or something, residents, or can we send things out?
What do you mean?
Well, let's pick a block, pick any block in the town, and yeah, I mean, that's,
Why should we get involved in it? I don't think we should.
Is there an appeals process to appealing a denial or an approval?
No, I didn't set up any appeal process.
It's worked before, the system worked before, so I don't see why it shouldn't work now.
I'm just thinking out loud for a second. This option, if we talk about an option to ask individual neighbor, either publicly or anonymously, if we're able to set it up that way, that option will be only after the police make their decision on whether or not the street or the plan that is presented on the permit or the application is following safety guidelines and the police feel is safe, correct? Is that what we're talking about? So it's a process by which, and I know that's not set up, but if we do ask the residents, it'll be only after this permit application is ready to move forward, after the police do their due diligence to make sure it's safe to close the road under the conditions that the permit explains. Is that what we're talking about?
I mean, I like the way it is right now. I mean, there's been no problems. I have never gotten a complaint in years I've been up here. I don't think you've gotten a complaint. I mean, if a neighbor does, if I go to your house and you say, well, I really don't want it, you don't go to the party. Because everybody, from what I've learned, they chip in money. And like, you're in charge of this, Chris in charge of this, Aaron's in charge of this, and that's the way they're working. I mean, I think we're blowing this way out of the horse. And you just let the police handle it, and that's it.
I think that's what he's trying to accomplish right now.
Just let them accomplish. I mean, that's my opinion.
no, I get that.
I mean, it's first reading, so I mean, we have another bite at this apple. So then, do we want to stop the process, or do we want to pass it on first reading, and then the safety subcommittee can take it offline with the police, have a conversation about it, and present?
I think this was a ordinance that is needed,
I think we keep it moving. I mean,
and to keep it moving, and I'm in support of this. I think this gives the discretion to the police department to make the right call when, unfortunately, certain well-intentioned activies kind of go haywire. So I'm for moving this forward tonight.
I think we move it forward. I think if anybody has any more questions, I think
you gotta ask them.
Say the committee gets in touch with the police and sits down with the police department.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, we'll do that. All right, roll call, please.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yep.
Committeeman Laufer?
Yes.
Mayor Cavities?
Yes. Right, resolutions, we're going to adopt these on consent agenda. If you'd like one pulled, please, make
I'm filibustering.
2023-203, 204, 205, 206, 207, 208, 209, 210, 211, 212, 213, 214.
Or,
Pull 214.
Can I pull 211?
So 211 and 214 are pulled. 211 and 214 are pulled. Do I have a
All
motion?
right, I will make a motion to adopt the following resolutions on consent agenda. Resolution 2023-203 through Resolution 2023-210, and we'll pick it up with Resolution 2023-213.
second,
And also 212?
and 212.
212.
Oh, and 212.
Excellent.
Second,
Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
yes.
Committeeman Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Cavities?
Yes. Madam Clerk, can you read Resolution 2023-211?
This resolution approves the promotion of Matthew Negron to the rank of 6th Class Patrol Officer.
Let's make the motion and talk about it.
Motion,
Second?
Second.
Second. I'm sorry, who has to pull this?
Yeah, I did. I just want to congratulate Officer Negron, and thank him for his service to town. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Captain and Lieutenants.
Excellent. Any other comment?
That was it.
Excellent. Roll call, please.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
yes.
Committeeman Lau,
Absolutely.
and Mayor Cavities?
Yes. Madam Clerk, 214, please.
This resolution authorizes the hiring of a part-time accounts payable clerk for the township's finance department.
I will make a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-214 as read by Madam Clerk.
Second. The reason I want this pulled is because I don't want the public to think we're hiring more people. This is a person who retired, am I correct?
Yes,
Just
that's correct.
replacing it. That's it. That's what-
A
yep.
retired individual and somebody that is needed to keep our finance department running smoothly. And just to,
There's no benefits, no nothing, just part-time.
yeah, part-time, and just to, I guess, piggyback off of your comments, Rich, congratulations to Karen. Looking forward to getting to know you. And please don't give me more purchase orders to sign. That I already do.
My hand's getting cramped signing all of them.
All right, anybody else? All right, roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Committeeman Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Cavities?
Yes.
And just one thing, I don't know if was it on the last meeting that Pat was on, that she retired? Or was it on there? I don't even know. I don't
It was at the,
Right.
Oh, okay, I just want to wish her good luck and thank her for her past services. I mean, appreciate it.
I will also, she was awesome, nice person.
Excellent. Finance.
All right, let's pay some bills. I'll make a motion to adopt payroll and invoices for the period of July 19th through August 8th, 2023, in the amount of $2,409,605.50.
Second,
Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
yes.
Committeeman Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Cavities?
Yes.
And everybody should have received the July budget report, the July pool budget report, the July revenue report, and the July pool revenue report. Please have that filed away accordingly.
We have one correspondence from Union County. Public hearing is August 22nd, 7 PM, 6 the Administration Building in Elizabeth for Senior and Disabled Resident Transportation Program. I ask that that be received and filed. Now it's on to the public comment on any governmental issue. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, please come forward, identify yourself, name and address. You'll have 4 minutes to speak, after which the Township Committee may respond.
Wendy Jones, 158 Milltown Road.
Mrs. Jones.
Yes.
Great to see you again.
Yeah,
Welcome
yeah, we're
back.
getting back. We've had a lot of Zoom meetings, so we've not been able to come here, but we're going to be taking turns coming. Yeah, at noon today, I called the Department of Public Works because the town tree in front of our house had a branch that was, I just noticed it. It's probably been around for a few days, but I looked at it. It was dead and it was hanging down. And we had thought it was JCP&L because it was over the wire, but they said it wasn't theirs. And I said, well, it must be the township because it's their tree. So I called at noon today, the Department of Public Works, and by 2 o'clock, they were there and they had removed that branch. And I just called them to thank them, and I just want everyone to know that I think everyone there should have a raise because they're just excellent, absolutely excellent. And I called them. They didn't have time to call me because they didn't know I was at home because I work at home. And they said they would call me back. And I said, well, I never have the phone on because I'm thinking I can't have the phone on. So I called them and I said, yeah, this is wonderful. You've done a great job. So I just want to congratulate them for that.
Thank you. They do a great job, and I thank you for making the time to come here to thank them publicly. They really do deserve it. Anyone else from the members of the public wishing to speak?
Hello, Clara Horelic, 1 South Derby Road, Springfield, New Jersey, obviously. So I understand that you are going to be addressing an issue in executive session, but I'm going to just speak in general terms right now regarding a street in Springfield, which is Bernadette Court. I represent one of 5 houses that is being affected by possibly a deed restriction. And just for a little background, I did extensive research with regard to this subject. I provided it to Bruce Bergen. Bruce Bergen provided it to Greg Coward and the administrator. I'm assuming, hopefully, that the Township Committee has received said research. But to sum it all up quickly, in 1979, the Bernadette Court development was built. At that time, Evergreen Avenue was nothing like Evergreen Avenue is today. And there was a deed restriction that was put on the subdivision with regard to the houses that abut Evergreen Avenue, that they cannot have a fence. About 2 years later, one of the houses on that street ended up having a deed change that showed that they could have a 4-foot fence that was board on board. None of the other deeds were affected by this or changed by this. To fast forward to 2023, I researched through the clerk's office every deed in that strip going from 1979 forward, with the exception of one property, which is Ms. Weiss, who is the only original owner left on that street, so obviously she still has a deed restriction. There is not one deed that has the deed restriction in it, including my client. No deed restriction. Now, bear in mind that this would have been many lawyers. I wasn't involved. I wasn't the lawyer on any of these deeds. But many lawyers, many title companies who would have done many searches to see what's going on with the deed restriction. So then I did an Oprah request to see whether or not I could pull up anything from the township records. There's absolutely nothing that would put anybody on notice that this deed restriction exists. Further to that, there have been inconsistencies in the way the township has enforced whether you can put a fence up or not on that Bernadette Court strip. Some people have vinyl, some people don't. Some people have board on board, some people don't. Some people have white, some people have brown. There was a planning board hearing for the Weiss House back, I don't know the exact date, but I think 2013. And the board made a decision that the town engineer varied. It was supposed to be a board-on-board fence, and then the person obviously pursued it further with only directly the town engineer, and unilaterally, the town engineer said you can put up a vinyl fence. That wasn't what the board decided. In addition to that, the zoning officer, because he didn't know about the deed restriction, had made certain decisions that people could have a permit, and now that's inconsistent. Finally, even my own client, who sought a permit, has no avenue. None of these people have an avenue to get a variance because until this deed restriction is resolved, you can't go before the board. So accordingly, my suggestion in my paperwork and based on my research was that I believe that given all the inconsistencies, given the fact that there are no records on behalf of the township, that I think it should be the township that goes to the Chancery Division to seek the removal of this deed restriction. You're not going to get consensus of these neighbors, who some of them aren't even talking to each other, to expend the money to go to court on a deed restriction that they don't even have in their own deed. So I think that in fairness, I think that's the right way to do it. Also, I heard through the grapevine that maybe they're going to make these people take down their fences. I think that's very unfair. I don't think that people should have to take down a fence that they thought they had the right to have in the first place. And even if they didn't have the right to have it, some of these fences, if you take them down, only for them to get a variance to put it back up, they're not going to survive. They're old, they're going to fall apart. So I think that the only fair way to do this, and I don't represent the whole street, I only have one client on that street. Last point is that Chancery Division is the apparent legal avenue that must be taken if you believe there's a deed restriction, to have it removed. And I think the fair way to do it is for the township to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Move forward.
Good evening, Casey Moriello, 144 Short Hills Avenue.
Hello.
Hello.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you. In the interest of see something that could be done to help the town, say it, so I'm going to try. South Trivet Avenue going toward Mountain Avenue is a one-way street, as we know, and empties out to Mountain. You either have to turn right or left. And very often people will stay to the right, as we all are trained to do, and then block the road because they want to make a left-hand turn. So I was wondering if it's possible, if we have the means and if it's not too expensive, to put a line down and put an arrow right and an arrow left on the road so that we can see that we have to be in one side or the other. Just a suggestion, so.
It's a valid suggestion, and what I'd like to do is I would like to refer this matter to the traffic division in the police station, in the police department, have them do a study, and then come to a resolution and circle back to you, if that's okay.
Sounds great.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public portion of our meeting. We do have an executive session, but before I ask for a motion, you might see somebody different down to my left. It's her first time here. This is Maureen Connell. She is the assistant to the VA and our deputy clerk. She's been with us for quite some time. She's been with us for a couple of years, but in this role, it's probably been about, I want to say, 6 months. It's good to have you here. I'm glad you're here. You did an excellent job, and thanks for joining us tonight and filling in for our clerk, who's on vacation. But excellent job, and you did great, and we really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
With that, anyone else have anything?
Move to,
For executive session, please.
Resolution number 8823, whereas Article 6 of the Open Public Meeting Act provides that a public body may hold a closed session, and whereas the Township Committee will during this meeting enter into a discussion of the following matters: attorney-client privilege and contract negotiations, dispatch services, and cable franchise renewal, attorney-client privilege and potential litigation, attorney-client privilege and litigation. Whereas matters to be discussed in the closed session are to remain in the strictest of confidence by all Township Committee members in furtherance of their fiduciary duties to the Township of Springfield. Now therefore be it resolved, matters discussed at this meeting will be released to the public when the reasons for discussing and acting upon them in the closed session no longer exists.
Do I have a motion? So moved. Second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Will not be coming out, taking any action.
No, we are not. We're not coming back out for action. We are adjourned.